Welcome back to the Chicago Tomahawk. I'm Mike, got my line mate Matt with me, and today we're going to be talking about Matiss Kivlenieks. He passed away in a tragic what was it, fireworks. Originally they said that he slipped, but it turns out that he was hit by some fireworks on the 4th of July. Absolutely horrific story. Tampa's up 3 games to nothing on the Habs. Right now they're tied 1-1. Dylan Strome does not fit in. I want to give a shout out to Blake Murray. We're going to talk about that. Give a shout out to JRD Piercy and Kaprisov. When the Wild are going to start talking, looks like this week. And Eichel and the Sabres are nearing a resolution on whether he's going to get his neck surgery or if he's going to get rehab. And we're going to talk contract structures. So first off, it's really horrible to hear about the Columbus goalie. Fogliano had nothing but good things to say about him. And it's crazy how these mishaps can happen.
Yeah, it's super, super sad. He's a young kid, 24 years old, I think. And there's really not much to say. It's just terrible. And I know the whole organization, they had nothing but great things to say. He's always smiling and stuff. And it's super sad, man. Terrible.
It's crazy how these freak things can happen, especially on a day like the 4th of July. You kind of forget about how dangerous some of, the fireworks can be.
Yeah.
But moving on, Tampa, man, they're up 3-0. Can Montreal claw themselves out of this hole?
I thought they'd get one game at home for sure. They're playing pretty good tonight. I got the game behind me. And you got Brandon Gallagher is just playing like a freak right now, man. He wants it. Shea Weber throwing a body around on Kucherov and Point. I think Point came out of the penalty box at one point and got a pass. It was kind of like a one-on-one with Weber. Weber just right into the boards. The crowd erupted on him. And those guys are playing great. But Tampa's very dangerous, so I think if the Canadians could stay disciplined and sneak an ugly goal by Vasilevsky, they got a shot.
It's pretty crazy, man. They scored 3 goals the other day. If Carey Price could have just stated his just unbelievable play, they would have won that game. And they need him to be that good.
Yeah, he hasn't been the best this series. I know the first 3, like I was telling you earlier, he was probably just up there with Vasilevsky being really, really, really good.
Right.
But Tampa's just, they're loaded with talent, and they'll kill you on the power play. And I think they had some penalty trouble as well.
Right.
The Habs did.
Well, we'll see. We'll see if the Habs can hold them off tonight and force a game 5 at least. Instead of going out in a sweep. Yeah. But, let's get to some Blackhawks talk. Dylan Strome kind of seems like the odd man out. And I don't mean odd man out in a it's too bad to see him go type of a thing. An odd man out is like this guy just does not fit in anywhere in the lineup. He can't play a third line role. He can't play wing. He can only play center. He can't play on the fourth line. And he's not producing enough to play on the top 2 lines. No matter what kind of chemistry he had with DeBrincat, it seems like it was very limited. And to one season, got him a new contract, and then with the trouble with Taves and his health that he had last year, the Hawks were kind of stuck giving him another year in his contract. But at 3.5, I think it was a 2-year, $3.5 million deal. I don't see him fitting in on this team in any capacity.
No, I don't either. I think that he could either be traded with, say, Boldquist for, say, Jones, if we're going for it, or he's not protected. And what's his name? Ron Francis takes him for the Kraken. But even if I'm Ron Francis, I'm like, I've seen this is all this guy could do. I don't really want him,
Yeah.
So, I think you're right. There's really no place for him here. He pretty much lucked out with Taves' illness and Kirby Dach breaking his wrist at the World Juniors.
Yeah,
we had nothing. We had no choice.
And even with that, man, he couldn't solidify himself a role on the team.
Yeah, he's just inconsistent. I think he was healthy scratched a couple times. That's not a good sign.
Yeah, it's not, and he doesn't like it either. I remember him commenting on it, saying that it's hard to play when you don't know if you're going to get healthy scratched or not. And
go
ahead.
Well, I remember when he was scratched, he did come back pretty strong. Like, he came back and he would score a big goal, and then he'd go another 7 games with nothing, and then it's like you scratch him again. I'm mad. And I come back and he gets like a 3-point game, and then it's too inconsistent to. We need a guy, if we're paying him to be like a top 6, he's got to produce. It can't be just Kane and DeBrincat.
Yeah, who do you think could? As far as the center's position is concerned, who do you think can fill in right now? Because I think they had him on a third line role.
Strome?
Yeah.
Third. I don't know, man. I think we might have to go hunt for one. Free agency day. I like Taves, obviously at 1. If he's better. And you got to go with Kirby. He's got to get the second line position, and then you got David Camp, and maybe hopefully we sign that Ryan Carpenter back. I really liked him at a fourth line dude.
Fourth line. I think last year he was playing fourth line wing with Camp. Well, actually, Camp was playing center for like 2 lines last year.
Yeah, I like those guys down the middle, and maybe we could sign a guy that's available. But I think that you put I like Kaner and DeBrincat together. I think that's great. I'd like to give Hinostroza a shot at another wing on the top 6, maybe Hagel and Kirby Dach. If not, move him around and put Kubalik up with one of those guys. So you got a shooter. You got like a pure shooter that's going to shoot the puck and score goals and not worry about passing like majority of our team does too much.
Yeah.
But as far like a third liner, Strome cannot do. He's not a David Bolin. I'm going to compare everybody to David Bolin because that was the best third line checker I've ever seen in a Blackhawk uniform in my era. I know Troy Murray was before us.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe we might have to hunt for one through a free agency, or maybe a prospect will come up that we don't even know about, taking the role and going with it.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I'm wondering where Dach is going to fit in, and obviously we want him on the second line. That's where we want him to be. But who are we going to put up there with him? Yeah, that's Kane and DeBrincat's line. But Taves, should we move them up to the first line, because Taves has had really good chemistry with Kubalik, and they need they need a left winger for that line.
That's true, but I think I would put Kane with Taves right away. Get Taves back in the game. Get him some confidence. Kaner can get him the puck. He can get Kaner the puck. Just get him back going, and then maybe even fool around with Dach and DeBrincat, for now. But I think the chemistry with Kane and DeBrincat is almost close to Panarin that year. Those guys were money together. But I guess on the power play, it's going to happen. They're going to be together a lot, and Kaner's going to find them, like Patrick Sharp all those years, backdoor. But I think we got to get Taves going. Kirby, I just don't know what Doc's going to be like yet. Is he going to be like a shooting center or a playmaking center? It's just we haven't seen enough of him, and he's always been hurt or the season's getting canceled. And he's not ready. He's his first year. We don't know. It's a big step from juniors. Yeah, we're going to give him that,
Yeah,
but
he
now
he was 19 years old.
This is his year. This is it. This is hey, okay, we want to see a full season of Kirby Dach, what you are going to be. And we need to see, you're going to shoot, you're going to pass. What kind of guy are you going to be? What kind of, you're going to be like a Taser, or you're going to be a Bergeron? I know they're like the same player pretty much, but Or Austin Matthews. He's a shooting center. So, I mean, we got to see it.
I'm going to call it right now, and I think he's a playmaking center. I think that he's got really good passing ability, and that's what I think that's going to be his style. So having a shooter on his line would be great. It's just who is that shooter going to be? You know,
I think it's going to be Kubalik.
Yeah,
I think they got to get that guy going too, because he scored 30 his rookie year, right?
Right.
That's big. I mean, we need a 30-goal guy. We have a good top six. I think we have options.
Yeah. And then
as for
Stroza, I'd love Vinny Stroza and Hagel on that third line.
Yeah,
that'd be a really dangerous third line.
Yeah, tons of speed. You get a face-off specialist.
Yeah,
you know, and a guy who knows how to shut what's his name on Montreal, Philip Deneau. Yeah, that's the type of guy you need for a third line, no doubt about it. Who cares about his goals if there's zero?
Right.
We want to prevent goals.
Just need him winning faceoffs. Actually, for that third and fourth line center role, I would think that if they got a third line center to win faceoffs, that takes a lot of pressure off of David Kemp. And actually, one thing that Kirby Dach needs to be working on offseason is his faceoffs.
Yep. Call Yannick Perreault back in. The face-off specialist.
You know, it could have been he was having residual problems with his wrist, why he was having so much trouble with face-offs. But, you know, we never know. But moving on, Kaprisov and the Wild are going to start talking contract now. That's huge for the Wild, because you don't want this guy just leaving and going to Russia. You know, but at the same time, are they gonna? Is this guy asking for $10 million? You know,
yeah.
Is he asking for $9 million? That's a lot of money for a rookie who comes in, had one great season. You know, you don't want to give him that money, and he turns into an Alexander Semin. You know,
or Radulov, yeah,
or Radulov,
yeah. I wish there was kind of like a rule in place, like you have to take. After your rookie entry, you have the maximum deal you could take is 4 years.
Right.
And it's like the bridge deal to your next lifetime deal. You know what I mean? Like, because now we see, like, after their entry levels, they're going from just about $1 million to like 7 to 8
million
at 8 years. And it's like, okay. Hopefully you can live up to it, and sometimes they'll play 2 good seasons, and it's like, wow, they try to move them. You know,
right.
It's like,
yeah.
I think the NHL's got to maybe put a rule in there, just get the bridge deal back in it. You know, that it's like gone now, no one's doing it.
Yeah, it actually that would need to be probably negotiated with the NHL, with the Players Association. The Players Association probably wouldn't have it.
No, they want the most money they can get. Yeah,
Right.
I get it, but I mean,
yeah.
You're just hurting your team if you got to trade guys to get rid of them.
How valuable, if you were the GM of the Wild, how valuable is Kaprizov to you?
Billy Guerin, yeah, man, he was awesome. I didn't know anything about him till this year, and he was scoring some sick goals and putting up some great numbers. And Minnesota hasn't really had a dynamic guy like that since like maybe Marian Gaborik, you know. Mm-hmm. So I think that Billy Guerin's doing a good job. I think he took that role, and he's doing great. So I think I would, give him, like I said, I'd give the guy 4 or 5 years, maybe $7 million. Prove it, dude. If you keep doing good, we'll pay you $10 million the next time. Just don't get greedy. Let's try to keep a team together. I mean, you got to learn. Like, look at the Oilers. They paid McDavid like $100 million a year, and it's like, okay,
he's a generational talent, though.
He is, but look, they don't have a guy who could stop the puck.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. You could score 1 million goals. If they're going to score 1,000,001 on you, you're going to lose, and that's what happened. Mike Smith is not the answer. I'm sorry.
No, he's not. Unless you're playing the Blackhawks every. Actually, even so, the Hawks beat him last time. Yeah, with Phoenix.
We beat them. Yeah, we shouldn't even been in the playoffs that year.
Yeah, and they came in as a different team during that plan.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to Eichel and the Sabres. What is, it's one of those things where you would think that you would, that you would defer to the medical experts on what do we do here, but he wants to have a surgery that hasn't been done on a hockey player that's still playing at least. And he specifically has a herniated disc, but he wants to have surgery. His mom's in his ear telling him to get the surgery, and the Buffalo Sabres organization does not want him to get this surgery. Who decides here? Like, what happens, and what's going to go on?
I don't know. Sounds like Bobby Boucher. Mama says. Mama said. I mean, it's up to him, I guess. Eichel. I mean, it's his neck, But
yeah.
In one sense, it's like, okay. I mean, the Sabres are paying me a lot of money to be the man here, and something goes wrong, and I go on, like disability for the rest of my life.
Oh man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's risky with any surgery, but like you said, there's no record of any NHL player getting it. It's like a natural healing, right, type of thing.
That's what they're trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you can avoid it, I think I would too. At his age, what is he? He's got to be in
24.
24, yeah. I mean, he's
still
young.
Man.
He's fit. Yeah, he's fit, and young guys can heal better than old guys. I mean, I could see if it was like a Seabrook, like during the end of his career, like, hey, I got to get this. I got to finish my contract out, So
yeah,
it's totally different for a young dude. But hey, man, I don't know how he feels. Backing out of the driveway might hurt him. Just turning that neck. So
yeah, that's a really good point. Maybe his quality of life sucks, and he's like, you know what,
miserable.
This isn't, this isn't what it's supposed to be. I'm trying to drive my Benz around, and I can't even creep because of my neck.
Yeah, I got the backup camera. I'm relying on that.
Yeah, just watching that thing.
Well, I mean, I think a little bit of it is he's sick of the bull crap with the Sabres. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I don't blame them. They're terrible.
Yeah.
And I think it's just another excuse like, hey, I'm done. You guys aren't agreeing with me, plus we suck. I want to be somewhere else,
Yeah. Yeah, and it seems like they want the world. They want like 4 first-round draft picks for him. That's crazy. That's what they're asking.
He's pretty good.
He's good, man, but he's not worth 4 first-round draft picks.
No,
it depends
no.
It also depends on what, are they, the last, 28th, 4 first-round draft picks,
Well, you've seen a couple of those offer sheets over the years. I think the last big one was Scott Stevens. The Devils gave him one, and I think they had to cough up like 5 first-round picks for the guy.
Wow.
I think that's with the amount of money, it's like they'll add on another pick. Like, say I offered you $7 million a year. Like, say like you're this is a restricted free agent, so you're under the age of 25 or 26, and I said I want 8 years. I'm going to give you 8 years, $8 million a year. You're going to cough up picks. That's just how it goes with the term and stuff. But for 4 years, for a guy who's making $10 million already, or I'm sorry, not 4 years, 4 picks. Right. That's a lot.
It is.
That's a lot. I mean, it's not like you don't have to worry about re-signing the guy. I maybe give him 2 first-rounders, maybe a prospect, but
yeah,
I wouldn't go more than 2.
I would go with 2 first-rounders and an NHL-ready player already, and maybe a second-round pick.
I'd even go maybe one first round next year and a second rounder the next following year, so you're not crippling yourself.
Right, and also considering the uncertainty of his health. What do you give up? Yeah,
I'm not going to give up 4 future NHL players in the first round. Usually these guys get a shot,
Right.
And what if 3 of them could be amazing? All 4 of them, even one would be like, damn, this guy's good. And Eichel's not even playing right now. He's done. His neck's not any good. It's risky.
It just seems incredibly risky to put so much into such a big unknown. It's not like he's 100% healthy coming in and you know what you're getting. You're kind of getting a guy with a little bit of baggage on him.
I think, honestly, he's probably going to end up in Buffalo still. I think they're not going to be able to move him. Maybe they'll move him at the deadline if it's still going bad, which it looks like it's probably going to.
Right.
and then it might be a little bit easier to move them. Like they'll get rid of their insane four first round picks. Maybe they'll get a first rounder at the deadline, if that, and a prospect.
Right.
But I would wait it out. It's not worth it.
Yeah, definitely. And he's another one. We could talk about contract terms. I believe he got an 8-year, $10 million a year deal.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he got paid before McDavid. Actually, I think I was
did.
like, oh man, he got that. What's Connor gonna get?
Right, and that was like I think that funny that you mentioned that. They were waiting to see what he was going to get, because then that was going to dictate what Connor McDavid was going to get.
Connor's like, all right, thank you, Jack.
Thank you, Jack.
Yeah,
$10 million. I'm somewhere north of that.
Thank you, Jack. You signed first.
So, and here's the thing. It's like, how do you value guys? How do you get a guy to say, hey, are you willing to take this 4-year deal? We'll just take your hypothetical. You have to have a 4-year deal first. Can you do a 4-year deal at $10 million, $12 million?
For which player? Jack?
No, for that. Just hypothetically, that you're signing somebody in your world. You're the GM, and you have to have a bridge deal, and the player is like, okay, you want me to take 4 years? I'll take 4 years, because I have to, but I want $10 million a year.
If it's like, we'll say Kaprisov, because like his situation is like, no, I don't think I'd go that far yet. I want more of a prove it. I'll go 8. You know what I mean? I don't go double digits yet.
Right.
8's fair. If you're putting up numbers like Sebastian Aho, who's making 8-ish, 9-ish, then your value. I'm not going to overvalue you, and then not being able to pay my role guys, my role players, and we're going to be terrible again. It's not fair. But if you could prove these 4 or 5 years, then I'm going to give you your max deal. We'll give you double digits. But right now, you don't know if you're a fluke. You got to prove it.
Yeah, and it's funny with that way of thinking. That might actually bring salaries down, because there's a lot of guys who've gotten paid, and then after 5 years, they've kind of trended downwards.
It's every year it's the same. You'll see it. We're going to see a ridiculous contract this year. It's probably going to be Taylor Hall. He's probably going to get $9 million a year for 5 years. He'll be really good the first couple months of the season, and then slowly just go down and down and down, and then whatever. I'm good. I'm making a lot of money, and next year Taylor Hall wants out, or we want to get rid of Taylor Hall. We can't though. He's making too much.
Yeah,
it's like the same every year. Oh yeah, geez, $9 million a year and 5 goals. Looks like
Montreal
the Canadiens just scored. Yeah, I just saw it.
Good. Wow, 2-1.
Make it. The NHL's happy. Let's go 7. Let's go 7. We need the commercial money.
Yeah, they need every freaking dollar they can get, man.
Yep.
11-12 left in the third period. Montreal is tied at 2-1. Wow.
Shot from the point too. Clean goal. Looks like number 27. Oh no, a tip. I don't know who shot it yet, but I believe it's Lettinen. It looks like a clean goal.
Cool.
Good for them. They're fighting.
Well,
Fight
cool,
to the
man.
death.
Do you got anything else that I missed for some news?
No, man. There really hasn't been much happening. Just this Stanley Cup final. Oh, I guess we do got a little Duncan Keith rumors here and there. I guess the Oilers pulled out of that today. They don't want to be a part of it. Sounds like Bowman wanted a little too much for him, and I think the Oilers wanted to find a team to retain some salary from Keith. But I wouldn't do that team any favors if because the Oilers they're still going to be a threat in the season. So I did hear Vancouver made an offer, though. I'm trying to put it together, but recent news that Nate Schmidt, remember him?
No.
He was picked up by Vegas from Washington in the expansion draft. He was pretty good with them with defensemen. He's making about $5 million a year.
Uh-huh.
They ended up trading him to Vancouver so they could sign Pietrangelo, the Knights. So his name has been out. His name has been out because he doesn't like Vancouver. He doesn't want to play there. But he's making the same. He's got the same hit as Keith. So it wouldn't really make sense to us. But he's not a bad guy, bad defenseman. But I know he's had some drug, like steroid issues. He was suspended like 25 games one season.
Wow.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know how I feel about that one. I don't know too much about him.
Wow. Okay. I don't even know how to say the guy's name.
Nate
Bustad.
Schmidt.
No, I'm just talking about Bustad from
Minnesota.
Wild. Yeah, he signed a 1-year deal.
Nick Bugstad. Yeah, he was
Yeah.
a former Panther. Yeah. He was a big hype down there with those guys, and he went to Pittsburgh, I think, a couple of years and didn't do much.
No kidding.
Yeah.
All right, cool, man. That's all that I got. But hey, guys, do us a favor. Check out at FHNnet. We're releasing our articles now. We released our first one last week, and we've gotten some positive feedback from it. And so we're going to be releasing articles. We're going to try to release them on Thursday, maybe once every 2 weeks, maybe once a week. We'll see, dependent on how the news is. If something's going on, I don't want to just pen something together and it's no big deal. But yeah, we're up and going. Check us out on there. Check us out on Twitter, and let us know what you think. But hey, that's all that we got for you tonight. This is the Tomahawk, and we're out.